Hello, this is Mr. Rasmussen with Algebra 2, Lesson 85, and we are working with some equations here that, in this one here, has a square in there, so it's non-linear. If you were to graph that, it would not be a straight line. And so, though we're not graphing in this lesson, we're looking at using the two equations with substitution or elimination to solve them, to find out what the values are that solve the equation. Now, because this one has a square in there, as it's quadratic, it's going to have two answers for that one. Okay, so our first step here is to take our simpler equation and let's rearrange it so that it is equal to y. So if I add a y to both sides and subtract a 3 from both sides, I get 2x minus 3 equals y. Then I can use substitution to put this in for y in my other equation. So I'm going to get x squared plus, and then substitution 2x minus 3 squared equals 9. So I've taken this, rearranged it, and substituted for y. And now I only have one variable, and I can solve for that. So I've got my 2x minus 3 times my 2x minus 3 with this squared in here. So let's multiply that out. As I multiply this by both the terms, so I'm going to get 4x squared minus 6x, and multiply this one by both, I'm going to get negative 6x plus 9, add those together, and I'll write it over here. Negative 2 plus, I'm going to get 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 equals 9 as I write this part into my equation there. Alright, now that I've got to that point, things are pretty straightforward. I've got a 9 on both sides, so if I subtract 9, they actually cancel, and I get a 0 over here. My x squared and my 4x squared are like terms, so they can be added. I get 5x squared minus 12x equals 0. Looks like I have an x in both these terms, so I can factor that out. If I factor that out, I get x parentheses 5x minus 12 equals 0. And then, because these are connected by multiplication and they're both equal to 0, I know I can separate those. So I get x is equal to 0 as one answer, and then 5x minus 12 equal to 0, and I got to further solve that. So plus 12 divided by 5 divided by 5. My second answer for x is x equals 12/5. Okay, so I'm halfway through my problem in the fact that I've got my two answers for x, but now I got to put that back in and get my two respective answers for y. So if I put 0, go back to my simple equation here. If I put 0 in for x, 2 times 0 is 0, and 0 minus 3 is negative 3. So this one here, y equals negative 3 as well, as x comma negative 3 for that problem there. And then I'm going to take my other one here. I get 2 times my 12/5 minus 3 equals y. 2 times 12 is 24/5 minus 3. Got to get a common denominator, so it's going to be 5, and 5 times 3 is 15. 24 minus 15 gives me 9/5 for y. So y equals 9/5. And there's my two sets of answers for example number 1 using substitution. Okay, looking at example number 2, this one actually is set up really well for elimination. You notice that if I add these, that my TDs, these go away right here. So let's go ahead and do that. I get 2 BT to the subscript d. This cancels, and then over here I get 40. Let's clean that up. Okay, divide by 2. My BT value is equal to 20. So now I'm going to use that and put that in to solve for my other my other answer there. Okay, so if I put that in, I'm going to get 20 is equal to, I'll use my 20 plus 5 TD is equal to 25. Use that for my first answer there. And so if I subtract 20 from both sides, I get 5 TD is equal to 5. Divide by 5, divide by 5. TD is equal to 1. Alright, so I'm halfway to my answer. I've got TD is equal to 1. Now we've got to substitute that into my initial problem there to be able to get my B answer. So let's do that. B times 1 plus 5 times 1 equals 25 using that first equation there. And so basically B plus 5 is equal to 25 minus 5 minus 5B is equal to 20 as my second answer using first elimination and then some substitution. Okay, go and pause the video and work through the practice problems and then check your work with my work. Work through the practice problems here. Practice problem A is set up very similar to the one we just did in the lesson, and so I'm going to use elimination. I'm going to add these and get 2BTD. This cancels is equal to 36 plus 18, which is 54. Divide by 2, BTD is equal to 27. Okay, I'm going to double check that in my book here and make sure I'm not running down the wrong path. Okay. I checked in the wrong book. Lesson 85. Okay. Okay. BTD is 27. Let's plug that back in and continue on here. So I got 27 plus 9TD is equal to 36. And if I subtract 27 from both sides, I get 9. And so 9TD equals 9. Divide both sides by 9. TD is equal to 1. Let's plug that back in and find out what B is equal to. So if I use my first equation there, B times 1 plus 9 times 1 is equal to 36. B plus 9 equals 36. Subtract 9 from both sides. My B value is equal to 27. All right, there's the answer to practice problem A. All right, practice problem B. We're going to rearrange this second equation here to be equal to y. So I'm going to add a y to both sides and subtract 5. So I get 2x plus 2x minus 5 is equal to y. All right, and then we're going to plug that in through substitution. They actually suggest in the book to multiply it out first. So I'm going to do it like that. So 2x minus 5, multiply that out. It's both those 4x squared minus 10x plus 25. Looks like I get 4x minus 20x plus 25 is equal to y squared. So I can just plug that in there. X squared plus parentheses my substitution, 4x squared minus 20x plus 25 is equal to 25. So I took all this, substituted it in for my y squared. All right, it's connected by addition, so the parentheses really don't matter. Let's subtract 25 from both sides. That gives me 0 over here. I have like terms in my first two, so you get 5x squared minus 20x equals 0. I can factor out an x, so I get x 5x minus 20 equal to 0. That's connected by multiplication, so since one of them has to be 0 or both, I can separate those out. So x equals 0 as my one answer there. And then 5x minus 20 equals 0 plus 20 to both sides. And then divide by 5, divide by 5. My x is equal to 20 over 5. That can be reduced. 20 divided by 5 is 4. All right, let me double check those answers before I continue on. And they look correct. Okay, so now we got to find our y values. Let's go back to my rearranged equation over here. So 2x minus 5 equals y. If I put 0 in here, then basically 2 times 0 is 0. So y is equal to negative 5 for my first answer. And then I'm going to put my 4 in there. 2 times 4 is 8 minus 5 equals y. 8 minus 5 is equal to 3. So y equals 3 for my second part. So if I want to write that as coordinate pairs 0, comma, negative 5 and 4, comma, 3 are my two sets of answers for practice problem B. Okay, hope that goes well. If not, go ahead and feel free to contact me, and have a great day.